Imagine eating your favorite meal without knowing the secret, bizarre history behind every single bite. What if I told you that honey never spoils and can sit in a jar for 3,000 years? That bananas are biologically berries, while strawberries are fake. That chocolate was once used as literal cash. And that orange carrots didn't even exist a few centuries ago. These facts sound like culinary urban legends, but every single one of them is 100% real.
Did you know?
Food is something humanity has celebrated for thousands of years. Every culture has created its own flavors, recipes, and traditions. But behind the ordinary meals, sitting in your kitchen right now lie mind-bending scientific anomalies, ancient trade routes, and biological optical illusions. Today, we're uncovering 12 food facts that sound fake, but are completely true. Let's begin. Fact 1. Honey can last thousands of years without spoiling. While almost every food in your pantry comes with an expiration date, pure honey is practically immortal. When archaeologists excavated 3,000-year-old tombs in ancient Egypt, they discovered clay pots of honey buried alongside pharaohs. And when they opened those ancient jars, they found the honey was perfectly preserved and still completely edible. Why doesn't honey spoil? It comes down to chemistry. Honey has very low moisture content, which dries out bacteria before it can grow. Additionally, bees add an enzyme called glucose oxidase to nectar, creating natural hydrogen peroxide and a high acidity level. Bacteria and microorganisms simply cannot survive in such a harsh environment. Honey isn't just a sweet food, it's an edible time capsule. Fact 2. Bananas are berries, but strawberries aren't. If you asked anyone to point out a berry in a fruit bowl, they'd point straight to the strawberry. But according to botanical science, your grocery store produce section is lying to you. In botany, a true berry is defined as a fleshy fruit produced from a single flower with a single ovary, containing seeds embedded within the flesh. Because of this, bananas, avocados, watermelons, and even tomatoes are botanically berries. So why isn't a strawberry a berry? The red fleshy part we eat actually comes from the flower's receptacle tissue, not the ovary. Furthermore, the tiny yellow specks on the outside aren't seeds. They are individual tiny fruits called achenes. Nature doesn't always play by our everyday rules. Fact 3. Chocolate was once used as literal currency. Today, we grab chocolate bars from vending machines as a quick treat. But thousands of years ago in Mesoamerica, chocolate was literally money. To ancient civilizations like the Maya and Aztecs, cacao beans were seen as a sacred gift from the gods. Cacao was so highly valued that it served as official currency across trade networks. You could pay your taxes, buy livestock, or hire workers using bags of cacao beans. In fact, historical records show that in 16th century Aztec markets, 100 cacao beans could buy you a turkey, while 3 beans could purchase a sweet avocado. Because cacao literally grew on trees, counterfeiting was a real issue. Scammers would carve fake beans out of clay or fill hollowed pods with dirt. Fact 4. Pizza was originally poor people's food. Today, pizza is a multi-billion-dollar global phenomenon, served everywhere from casual delivery joints to high-end Michelin star restaurants. But for most of its history, pizza was looked down upon as cheap food for the destitute. In 18th century Naples, Italy, the working-class poor needed cheap, portable meals they could eat on the go. Street vendors began selling flatbreads topped with garlic, lard, coarse salt, and newly introduced tomatoes, which wealthy elites initially feared were poisonous. Pizza was considered so low-class that aristocrats refused to touch it. Everything changed in 1889 when Queen Margherita of Savoy visited Naples. She reportedly grew tired of rich court food and asked to try local street food. Chef Raffaele Esposito made her a flatbread featuring red tomatoes, white mozzarella, and green basil, mirroring the Italian flag. The Queen loved it. The pizza margherita was born, and pizza was forever elevated. Fact 5. Spicy food performs a chemical trick on your brain. When you bite into a ghost pepper or hot sauce, your mouth feels like it's literally catching fire. Your face turns red, you sweat, and your eyes water. But chemically speaking, there is zero heat involved. Chili peppers contain a chemical compound called capsaicin. When capsaicin touches your tongue, it binds to a specific nerve receptor called TRPV1. This is the exact same receptor that triggers when you touch a scalding stove top or boil water. Your brain receives the signal and panics, thinking your mouth is physically burning, so it triggers emergency cooling responses like sweating and tear production. Spicy food doesn't cause physical chemical burns. It's a brilliant neurological optical illusion engineered by plants to keep animals from eating them. Fact 6. Cheese was invented before written history. Long before electricity, refrigerators, or chemical preservatives existed, ancient humans faced a big problem. Fresh milk spoils in a matter of hours. Over 4,000 years ago, likely by accident, nomadic herdsmen stored fresh milk in pouches made from animal stomachs while traveling across arid deserts. An enzyme found inside animal stomachs called rennet, combined with the heat and motion of travel, caused the milk to curdle and separate into liquid whey and solid curds. When travelers tasted the curds, they realized they had discovered a delicious, protein-rich food that could last for months without spoiling. Today, cheese making has evolved into an art form with thousands of regional varieties across the globe. If you're enjoying these food secrets, take a quick second to hit that like button and subscribe to Tina Fact. It helps us bring you more amazing science and history stories. Fact 7. Popcorn is one of humanity's oldest snacks. When you think of popcorn, you probably picture movie theater buckets and microwave bags. But popcorn was a hit thousands of years before cinema was ever conceived. In 2012, archaeologists excavating ancient coastal sites in Peru discovered fossilized corn cobs wrapped in husks that dated back over 6,700 years. When tested, researchers realized these ancient indigenous cultures were already popping corn kernels over hot stones and coals. Unlike standard sweet corn, popcorn kernels have an ultra-hard outer hull containing a small droplet of water inside. When heated, that water turns into steam, builds up immense pressure, and eventually causes the kernel to violently turn inside out, creating the crunchy snack we still enjoy thousands of years later. Fact 8. Carrots were originally purple and yellow. If you ask a child to draw a carrot, they will automatically grab an orange crayon. But for most of human history, orange carrots didn't exist at all. Originating in Persia and Central Asia over 1,000 years ago, wild and cultivated carrots came in deep shades of purple, dark red, yellow, and bitter white. So how did orange take over the world? During the 16th and 17th centuries, Dutch farmers began selectively breeding yellow and sweet red carrots, according to popular historical legend. Dutch growers selectively bred sweet orange varieties as a tribute to William of Orange, the leader of the Dutch Revolt. Whether purely political or agricultural, the sweet orange strain was so successful that it swept across Europe and replaced purple carrots nationwide. Fact 9. Pineapples were once an ultimate symbol of wealth. Today, you can buy a canned pineapple at any local grocery store for a couple of dollars. But in 18th century Europe, owning a single pineapple was equivalent to owning a modern luxury supercar. Native to South America, pineapples were brought back to Europe by explorers. Because pineapples required expensive heated hothouses called pineries to survive cold European climates, growing one took up to 3 whole years of intense labor and expense. A single pineapple could cost up to $8,000 in today's money. They were so expensive that wealthy aristocrats wouldn't even eat them. They would carry a pineapple around at parties as a status symbol to show off immense fortune, or rent one for the night just to display it on their dinner table. Fact 10. French fries aren't actually French. French fries are an iconic menu item around the globe. But despite having French in their name, the origin of fried potato strips leads straight to Belgium. According to local Belgian history, River village residents along the Meuse River regularly caught tiny fish and fried them whole for dinner. During harsh winters when rivers froze over, villagers sliced potatoes into thin fish-like strips and fried them in fat instead. So why do we call them French fries? During World War I, American soldiers stationed in Europe were introduced to these delicious fried potatoes by the Belgian army. Because the official language of the Belgian military at the time was French, the American soldiers dubbed them French fries, and the name stuck globally ever since. Fact 11. Mushrooms are biologically closer to animals than plants. Most grocery stores categorize mushrooms right alongside broccoli, lettuce, and carrots in the produce aisle. But from an evolutionary standpoint, mushrooms are not plants at all. They belong to the kingdom fungi, and they are biologically closer to human beings than to plants. Unlike plants, mushrooms do not produce their own food through photosynthesis using sunlight. Instead, like animals, they must digest food from external sources. Fungi cellular walls are made of chitin, the exact same tough material found in the exoskeletons of crabs, lobsters, and insects. Furthermore, on a genetic level, fungi and animals share a common evolutionary ancestor that split away from plants over 1 billion years ago. Fact 12. Real vanilla comes from a hand-pollinated orchid. When people describe something as plain or basic, they often call it vanilla. But real, natural vanilla is one of the most complex, labor-intensive, and expensive spices on the entire planet, second only to saffron. Pure vanilla flavoring comes from the seed pods of the Vanilla planifolia orchid. Out in the wild, this specific orchid flower blooms for only a few short hours on a single day each year, and can only be naturally pollinated by a specific species of stingless, being native to Mexico. To grow vanilla commercially around the world, farmers must walk through plantation fields every morning, inspect thousands of delicate flowers, and pollinate every single blossom individually by hand using a tiny toothpick or bamboo needle. It takes up to 9 months for the cured pod to mature, making real vanilla a true luxury. The next time you sit down for a meal or grab a quick snack, remember that every single bite holds millions of years of evolution, ancient trade secrets, and fascinating science. Which food fact surprised you the most? Were you shocked to learn about purple carrots, or that mushrooms are closer to animals than plants? Let us know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, give this video a like. Hit that subscribe button. Share it with a friend who loves food and trivia. Join us on Tina Fact for more unbelievable, did you know, stories. Until next time, stay curious.